Scott, so take me back to the beginning a little bit. Where did your love for football start?
Well, love for football started really, really young. My parents were involved with a local football club, a local grassroots club. So we were kind of embedded in it from a really early age, me and my brother. Uh, Both played for the team, went through. Mum and dad never missed a game, really supportive parents. And it all started from there, really. Yeah, just fell in love with football straight away. And ever since that day, really, football's something I've lived and breathed.
When did your mind sort of go towards coaching? Because not everyone who's played football goes, oh yeah, I want to get into coaching. When was it for you that that switched almost from player to coach?
Yeah, it's a good question. So my story, I suppose, early on was a story of a failed footballer, if I'm being completely honest. So I did the rounds of Northwest clubs, really, didn't really take off. Gutted at the time, but looking back with a coach's eye now, probably lacked a little bit of pace. Always had the desire and all that sort of stuff, but probably the pace let me down in the end. Um, Still thought I was going to make it. Decided to go to university. Went to university and did a sports science degree. Knocked around the non-league game for quite a while. Still with aspirations really to get back involved if I could. Was afforded the opportunity in '99 to go across to the States and coach for MLS, like coaching school that was out there at the time, and absolutely loved it. I coached everything from little nippers all the way through to college teams, elite teams, really, and just thought, you know what, this is for me. Became apparent around that time. Probably the professional game wasn't going to work for me. And yeah, I just fell in love with the coaching side of things then as well. So came back, started on the journey with me coaching badges and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'd probably say around '99 when that shifted.
What was that like? Because I mean, a lot of people now will look at the MLS and go, well, it only started when Beckham went out there.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's been going a lot longer than that. What was it like over there in the States on that side of things in terms of football? Obviously, they call it soccer over there. It's not their main sport like it is over here in England. What was it like? What was your experience like in America?
Yeah, it was incredible. It was my first kind of look at the women's game as well. So what you found at the camps that we did was there was a heavy influence of the girls there, and they were incredible. Huge sport over there, has been for a number of years, way beyond where we were at that time, and I was impressed with that side of things. Standard was okay. When I coached the more elite teams, the college teams, and what have you, they were very, very fit. Probably not technically as good as what we were over here, but a very, very fit teams. And it was building at that time. Really, it's not as popular as it is now, but it was, so there was certainly a buzz around football, and it was great to see, and it was good to be a part of that at the time.
So I go back a little bit. You mentioned about obviously trying to get into football yourself, playing for a few local teams around the Northwest and going to non-league. And want to tie that into going into coaching. Was it anybody who stood out for you as a coach or any advice was given from a coach when you was younger in an academy or at non-league?
Yeah, I mean, I had some incredible coaches. I had very much old school coaches where it almost ruled with fear, which I didn't like. That's not what I was. I'm not about that. I never have been about that. Technical coaches who were ahead of the time, probably back then. I think the European game, European coaches have come over and revolutionised that. But we did have coaches here who had that kind of mindset as well, and the opportunities for them to get the big jobs and progress in the game's really tough in this country. So I've kind of what I've done is taken little bits from lots of different coaches and kind of evolved over time. And probably when I started my coaching career, I was more of a drill coach where I'd go in, put drills on, and really them sessions were for me. It made me look good. Whereas now what I'll do is replicate the game as much as possible, and the sessions are built around the players' needs rather than the needs of the coach. So, and this is something I've just picked up over lots and lots of periods of time, really.
About 2009, you got your UEFA B license. Just talk to me about the process from starting off, getting your FA level one all the way through to UEFA B, the process of doing it, and did you find it difficult at times?
Yeah, so the level one was okay. It's more dealing with the little ones, really, putting drills on, fun, enjoyment, and all that sort of stuff. Level two looked a little bit more at the technical side of the game, which was a little bit more interesting. That became a little bit tougher, that's for sure. Not that wasn't just turn up and you pass. And then on to me, UEFA B, that was a real tough course. I did that actually through Bolton Wanderers, who had the license from the FA to deliver them courses at the time. So real good coaches on that. A guy called Jack Trainer, a guy called Phil Hackney. Leaders in the field, really. So it was good to learn off them. There's a couple of ex-pros on the course as well. Again, good to see how they work, because they've obviously worked under professional coaches as well. Tough, really hard. It's not just what you do when you go and do them badges, but you have to go away and clock up a certain amount of hours and log them and have them passed off as well. So, yeah, it was tough, the away for B. Managed to get through first time, which was good. And Phil Hackney, who was one of the tutors on the course, he was academy manager at Accrington at the time, and that was my first coaching job. So off the back of me away for B, he offered me a job there at Accrington, which was great.
I say UEFA obviously opens up a lot more opportunities with pro clubs. You mentioned Accrington, you was at Blackburn Rovers, Wigan Athletic, and the academies as well. Talk to me
Yeah,
about your experiences of these high level academies.
yeah. Again, learning curve for me all the time. I think some of the kids are incredible, loads and loads of potential. One of my first roles with Blackburn Rovers was to set up almost like a satellite academy in Blackpool area where I was living at the time. So it was my job really to go out recruit players for that, coach them within the centre, and then feed them into the club. So that was great as well. I think at the time the FA had just produced a document called the Future Game, which was almost more Dutch-like, so more technical stuff, touches on the ball, all that sort of stuff, which I evolved with as well. It was great to be part of that kind of process and implementing that as well. So, yeah, I think the game's going in the right direction. The academies are great places now, and I think we'll probably see over the next few years the work that's been done in them academies coming to fruition with the professional players as well, which is good.
You mentioned obviously yourself and evolving your coaching style and evolving with the game with all the bits that come in throughout the years. In the last 26 years you've been involved in coaching alone, how much has coaching evolved?
Yeah, like I said, the influence of European coaches. I find in this country what happens is a particular country does well, and then the FA will go out and look what they do, and then spend millions of pounds kind of putting that into to fruition with the FA and with the academies and filtering it all down. And then if another team does well, they'll change all that and scrap it and come in. And I feel as though as a country, we've probably lost a bit of identity because of that. But I think they've stuck with one now, and I like what's going on in the academies. They've got new coaching badges now called the youth modules, which are very much age specific. So rather than just a general coaching badge where it's one size fits all, it's very much kind of targeted on different age groups and what to do with them different age groups, which I think is brilliant. But yeah, it has evolved, and I think personally I've evolved. There's so many ways. There's not one way to skin a cat, and I think you watch different coaches all the time, and I like what some do, I don't like what others do, and I think it's important coaches have the mindset of I'm not a finished article. I can learn all the time, and it's probably one of them professions as well where very inexperienced coaches can learn off experienced coaches, and actually experienced coaches can learn off people coming into the to the profession as well. So yeah, it's interesting.
Is there anybody when you was at these high level academies that you sort of saw and immediately thought, wow, and they blew you away with their talent,
Yeah, absolutely. Do you mean playing wise or coaching wise?
playing wise?
Playing wise, yeah, 100%. So I managed to coach Joseph Gildart, who's at Leeds United now. He's been on loan at a couple of clubs. Just incredible. He ended up playing two age groups above. Strong, quick, can do everything in the air, skillful. And it wouldn't surprise me over the next few years if you see him start to make his way into the England fold. Sam Tickle, who's at Wigan Athletic at the moment. Brilliant. Always been an incredible goalkeeper. Saw that really early with him. A couple of lads at Blackburn who've made it into the first through into the first team as well. And it's just great to be around these lads. And it's all potential. You can see somebody at an academy and think, yeah, they'll make it, and unfortunately they don't. And I think there's two sides to players. One is obviously ability, and the second is mentality. And there's very, very few players who have both. I've seen lots of players who've had incredible skill, but probably the wrong mentality and not made it. And probably the other side of things, not as great in terms of ability, but the mentality's through the roof, and they've made a good kind of go at it as well. So yeah.
For you as a coach at an academy level as well, I don't know if you've ever had to, you know, break the news to a player saying that, you're getting released, you're not going to make it to the next level. What's that like to, I suppose you immediately notice talent, but do you sometimes immediately notice actually this guy's not going to make it, this girl's not going to get there, or how hard is that to process as a coach?
Tough, tough. The hardest part of the job, really, sitting down with parents and the young person, shattering the dreams, because that's what you're doing effectively. And I still think there's a lot more to be done with players who are released at clubs. Aftercare, I don't think there is any. And I look at my daughter now. My daughter's at Liverpool. She just signed a 2-year contract, and she absolutely lives and breathes the game. Her teammates have become her best friends, and if she was to get the call to say, unfortunately, we're going to release you, that is tough, and I fear that, really. That's a real fear from myself. So yeah, I think it's something we can do better in this country. I don't know what that better is, to be honest, if I'm being completely honest, but it definitely is looking at.
Absolutely. I want to move on to more recent work you've done, the England Amputee Team. He was on the coaching staff there, progressed through the coaching staff as well. I want to ask you in terms of that, because it's a very obviously different team to coach to what you was used to from the academies, etc. Did you have to change any of your coaching style or training methods to cater for the various disabilities?
Yeah, good question. So that was a fear of mine when I first got into it. So the way I got in is the goalkeeping coach I met when I did my UEFA B license. He was coaching the amputee national team, and a role came up to coach the what they call the next gen players. So a mixture of young players and players who have aspirations to make it into the full national team. So I applied for that and got it. And when I first went in, my first question was, where do I pitch these sessions? Do I simplify them? And it became apparent very quickly that no, whatever I do in an elite academy, I do exactly the same with these amputee players. They are incredible, and until you've actually seen them close up, you can't judge how good they actually are. The only thing that does change slightly is probably your terminology. So whereas an able-bodied coach, I might say receive on your back foot. Obviously, with the amputee players, there isn't one. So it's just a case of just changing a little bit of a bit of vocabulary, really.
You said if there's one of your sort of concerns or worries going into that role. When you're coming across these concerns or worries before any sort of role or potentially before a session or whatever else, what do you do to control that concern for yourself as a coach?
I think it's just gather as much information as possible. I watched sessions. I went as much footage as I could online. I went and watched sessions in the flesh. So I went to watch Everton train. I went to watch Man City train, and it's just about gathering that information, asking the right questions to the right people, and then through planning, making sure what you're doing is robust, fit for purpose, and will work. And I think if you can do that, that really starts to squash them concerns quite quickly, really.
I will come on to the accolades that you won with England, but what I want to ask you in terms of the national team and the club level, what are if there's any differences between coaching the national and club level?
Standards, I suppose, of players. So you look at Everton, for instance. So Everton have got 7 national team players within their squad. So if I was to go and coach the Everton team, probably no difference, for being honest. There's other clubs within the leagues where they've probably not got as many national team players. So then again, you probably would have to simplify that a bit and drag that down to a level where you could see that development with them players. But amputee football in this country is growing all the time. It's not where it needs to be. If you look at the likes of a Turkey or a Poland, they've got professional leagues. So in 2017, we went across to the European Championships. I wasn't involved at this point, and they managed to get to the final, and it was in Turkey. And they sold out the Besiktas Stadium. There's 42,000 people there watching that final. And again, lots of footage online of that on YouTube and stuff. And that's the level that we have to compete with. Huge resources that they've got. The government back their programme. And so for us to continue to compete on the grass with teams like that takes an awful lot of hard work from both staff and players.
So hearing that's amazing. You'd never ever think that, You're going to, sell out Besiktas Stadium,
Yeah.
like you said, the professional leagues. How eye-opening was that to see that on the other side of the world, sort of thing?
How? What? Sorry, what was that?
How eye-opening was it for you to see that?
Oh, amazing, amazing. It's just another world. Like we'll go out to Turkey and we'll go, I don't know, in a shopping centre, and people come up and recognise the players and the staff and all that sort of stuff. So it's like being in a parallel universe when you're over there. But like I said, just the resources around the programme are just scary. And then really as well, you look back at amputee football, we were kind of one of the first nations to set up, and we've helped the likes of Turkey and Poland and Spain set up their programmes. And we're a charity. We don't get any help from the FA. We don't get any help from anybody else. So everything we do is through goodwill, fundraising, and so on and so forth. So it becomes a grind. It becomes tough tournament to tournament to raise the required money to be able to continue to compete with the teams that I've just mentioned there.
Scott, for you personally, how rewarding is being a coach?
Incredibly rewarding. When I finished playing football, I didn't think anything had really eclipsed that, but I can honestly say it has. I've had some amazing experiences as a coach, and I think when you look at from an able-bodied point of view, working in the academies, to see a player that you've kind of mentored or coached get through and play in a first team is a great feeling. From a different perspective, work with the amputees to see them go on, win tournaments, and step back and think, do you know what? Some of these never thought they would ever walk again, let alone lift a major trophy for the country. So very different. And when you talk about my coaching as well, I think my remit within, I never considered myself as a coach within an academy setting. I considered myself a football teacher to develop these young players. Whereas when I went across to the amputee team, the remit was to win football matches. And that's looking at opposition. It's setting up in a way that you can nullify the opposition, but making sure you can do what you need to do as well. For me, that's more coaching. What I did with the academies, for me, is more teaching.
Comes on to my next question quite nice. I was going to ask you, what does coaching mean to you? But obviously, you can sort of separate the two. What does teaching in the academies mean to you? What does coaching with the national team mean to you?
Yeah, I think over the years, without kind of bragging, I suppose, I became an expert at developing young players. I enjoyed it. I also had a career as a school teacher as well, which ran alongside me coaching, which I suppose the skill to being a school teacher, as it is with a coach or a football teacher, is to understand how these young people and young players learn and be able to tailor what you're doing to make sure that everybody within that group develops at whatever rate. It's always a challenge when you look at a group. You'll have some who'll progress really quickly. You'll have others that'll probably do that a bit slower, and it's how you cater that session so you are meeting the needs of everybody in the group. And I think I've learnt them skills within the classroom, and I was able then to take that into the coaching world as well.
Absolutely. Let's swing it around to England's amputee team. What was it like to coach at international tournaments?
Yeah, I mean, the first tournament I went to was 22, I think it was, to the European Championships, and I was the first team coach at that point. And to stand there with the team and sing the national anthem was just a real special moment. I get hairs on the back of my neck stand up now. It's amazing. And to receive international caps as well, which we do per tournament, which I never ever thought I'd do. It's just a really proud moment. It's a proud moment for me, and it's a proud moment for my family as well, and family and friends. All the games are streamed live as well, so they get opportunity to watch. And we've done things like been on this morning with Cat Deely and Ben Shepherd, which is amazing to do as well. And last weekend I was the studio analyst on live on TNT Sports for the Amputee FA Cup final. Just experiences that I never ever thought that I'd be doing, and it's been amazing.
Absolutely. Won the Nations League trophy, England's first trophy since 1990, I think it was. Um, Talk about that feeling of not just being on the pitch, getting your cap and the national anthem, but winning and lifting that trophy with the boys.
Yeah, just we'd worked really hard for that, and it was a culmination of a number of years of real hard work. So before I took the role, Owen Coyle, the former manager, his son ran the team. Incredible coach. So we worked closely together. So when he stepped aside and I took the head coach role, it was almost seamless because we kind of believed in the same stuff. we created a culture whereby the players belonged. They had a sense of belonging. They were all best friends. We just worked so hard in developing that culture. So to see the boys lift that trophy a couple of years ago was just a real special moment. And to go out, we beat Turkey. That was the first time they'd been beat in something like 12 years or something ridiculous. And then we've got Spain, who are a very good side. They knocked us out of the European Championships before that, beat them. And we beat Poland, who are the current AMP champions as well. So to go out and beat them three teams and we're a country that's got such a small budget, we have to work so hard to do what we do. Yeah, incredible. But there was a real special moment when they lifted that trophy, like I just said before, where I just stepped back and watched the looks on the players' faces. And yeah, you can't bottle stuff like that. I wish you could, but it was amazing.
Do you get to enjoy those moments, or when you're there, is it obviously professional hat on sort of thing? I've got to be here, I've got to be the coach and set the example, or do you get to soak it in for a minute?
Yeah, I think when you're in the throes of the tournament, I don't think you do. I think you're just going from game to game. You're working with analysts, you're working with the doctors, you're working with the psychologists, and you're making sure this player's got what they need. And what goes into it's just incredible. So I think as the tournament's going on, I think no, I don't think you have a chance to soak that up. But when we eventually won it, I made myself kind of step back and enjoy what we'd achieved really. And like I said, it wasn't just that tournament; it was a culmination of a number of years of hard work from a number of people to achieve something like we did.
The trophy was showcased in the National Football Museum. What was that like for you in terms of a proud moment to, I know you went down and visited, it's all over the website on there as well. What was that like for you to have it all up in on display?
Yeah, I mean that's another kind of have to pinch yourself moment really. You walk around that museum, and we had the opportunity. Me and Reece Ramsden, one of the players, we went over and presented the trophy to the museum. And you walk around and you look. Ours was put in the England section, so it was alongside Gareth Southgate's suit, Paul Gascoigne memorabilia, and what have you. And just to see our trophy sat there and a plaque with my name and a quote on. Again, it's just a pinch for me moment. It's something I never ever thought would happen. Again, roll back to where we were when it became apparent that I wasn't going to make it as a footballer. If somebody had said, "Well, actually, a few years later, this is going to happen to you," then I probably would have said, "No, I can't be." So.
Looking back on your coaching career, is there anything that you would have changed?
I'm a big one for not regretting stuff. Have I made mistakes along the way? Yeah, certainly. But I think if I hadn't made them mistakes, I probably wouldn't have gone down the paths that I have. I think I've needed to make them mistakes. But yeah, I just don't live with regret. I never regret anything I do. I've from even being in teaching, I was always asked what's your long-term plan, and my retort to that was always I've not got one. What I've generally done is give 100% to what I'm doing currently, and that's opened a door. And then I did exactly the same there, and that's opened another door. And I think sometimes when you make these long-term plans, it just takes you down one path. Whereas, again, I never thought I'd be coaching the England Amputee national team, and that's just something that almost happened organically, really.
You mentioned earlier about, the mentality side of it, talent side of it, but you mentioned with the England amputee team about the team spirit. Just how big is team spirit in football and sport in general, I suppose?
Yeah, just the biggest, as far as I'm concerned. It was one of our biggest kind of challenges. To all these players have full time jobs, but the standard and the expectation that we put on them is incredible. So they've all got nutrition plans, which they have to follow. They've all got strength and conditioning programs, which they have to follow. And this is all away from camp. When they're at camp, the standard and again expectation that we put on them is no different than if you went to the able-bodied England team, male or female. It wouldn't make a difference. It's exactly the same. So yeah, it's tough. What was the original question there, James? Again?
The team spirit, how important is team
Yeah,
spirit?
team spirit. Yeah, so for us, one of the biggest challenges was to how do we get these togetherness that we can go out and we can go and compete against the best teams in the world. And we tried lots of different things, and one thing we decided on is to come up with this kind of concept of lion mode. You've obviously got the England team with the 3 lions and what have you, and we looked at kind of the life of a lion, and there was a lot of similarities between teams and the way lions work, like Lions Den. So we have a Lions Den game plan. So that's, we don't let anybody in. We're organised. We fight for each other, and so on and so forth. We have lion mode off the pitch as well. So what we did was said to the players, you've got X amount of sessions to do in a week, and each session that you complete will accumulate so many points. And what that did was go to a team total. So if players weren't pulling the weight, then that would affect the team total. So again, that kind of galvanised the whole team, and nobody wanted to let the team down. So that spirit and togetherness it's the reason we achieved what we achieved. I have absolutely no doubt about that.
We spoke about quite a number of highs for yourself. What's your favourite memories looking back at your coaching career?
I'd have to say lifting the Nations League in 2022. That was just difficult to put into words how special that was. Changes all the time, really. So my daughter's plays now. My 2 daughters play, actually. One's making their way through grassroots football, and like I said, one's with Liverpool currently. So they're real special moments as well, to get to watch your kids play football. So I say that's definitely a highlight as well. My first coaching job at Accrington, so that was great to complete my coaching badge and immediately asked to go and work in the professional game. That was amazing as well. Developing players through Wigan Athletic in particular, and guiding them towards a professional career, and watching them now from a distance is great, and I keep in touch with a few of them, which is nice. Got one of Sam Tickle's shirts behind me, which he kindly gave me from one of his games. So, lots and lots of highlights. If I was to choose one, certainly the Nations League. That was a special moment, but so many good times that I've had.
I know you mentioned earlier about, you got your England caps. Obviously, you said there, Santi will give you one of his shirts. What's your prized possession from your career?
Oof, nice possession. I'd say that's my England caps. I've got them proudly kind of put in a nice display cabinet at home. So, yeah, they're things I hope I can pass to my kids, and they'll pass to their kids. And to receive England caps is so special, and something, like I said before, I never thought I'd do. So I'd say they're my prized possession. Yeah.
I want to just mention one of the final topics about grassroots football. We mentioned one of your daughters plays grassroots, you coach grassroots. Just how important is it for kids at grassroots level to still get the same care and attention as academy kids or even national team players?
Yeah, huge. It's massive. I mean, to be honest with you, the grassroots game is what feeds the academies, isn't it? That's where these players come from. I like the Dutch model. So I've managed to go over to Holland a few times, where the professional club has feeder clubs, and the professional club not only finances the feeder clubs but sends coaches in to deliver sessions, and obviously they get fed into the professional club. I like that model. I don't particularly like the model over here where the professional clubs are almost closed, and the grassroots clubs are completely separate. The game's worth multi-million pounds, and I do feel as though some of that should filter down into grassroots. I mean, you go today, for instance, with local park, and we're going round and we're picking up dog poo off the floor and churned up cans and stuff like that. It shouldn't be like that. They should be looked after, the grassroots, certainly.
Do you think that's where potentially in England we're missing a trick there? Because I imagine if you can have it the same as the Dutch model, you're going to bring through a lot more talent and probably missing out on a lot of talent that aren't going to make it because they're being missed.
Yeah, 100%. And I still think there's areas for improvement where the FA can give grassroots clubs more care and attention in terms of developing and upskilling the coaches as well. I think just a one-off level one and then back into your club, and then that's it. Some might go on and do a level two. Others might just stay with a level one, but it doesn't give you enough to really have an understanding about how kids learn. And I think the FA should be sending people into clubs, or even the professional clubs should be sending people in to mentor the coaches and help them develop these young players. Because, like you say, they're going to be the next players coming through the academy system.
I mentioned earlier about, pride and seeing and identifying talents. You mentioned obviously Sam Tickle, obviously he's in the Wigan first team, number one shot stopper there. You mentioned Joe as well. He's at Leeds United. Um, Talk to me about the grassroots side of it. How much pride do you get when kids get picked up by the academies from the grassroots?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. I mean, I'm just dipping my toe in the grassroots at the moment. Obviously, my daughter plays for the team, and when anybody finds out your coach, it's go on, can you just help us with this session, and then you're back in again. So, what I am enjoying with the eldest one is I'm just being dad at the moment, and it's nice just to stand on the side and be a dad. But I do love the coaching. I do love getting involved, and where I originally said I'll help out with a couple of sessions. Now I'm on the side every weekend and delivering sessions and also stuff like that, which I do. Absolutely love it. I love it.
And the last question from me, Scott, you mentioned earlier about the women's game that you noticed had was almost ahead of its time at the MLS back in '99. You got two girls playing the game now as well. Just talk to me about the women's side of it. Obviously, we've got the women's Euros going on at the moment currently. Just how big is the women's game in this country at the minute, and how much bigger can it get?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it now compared to 10 years ago, it's on a different planet. The standard of the academy girls now is off the scale. I've been lucky enough to deliver a couple of sessions to that kind of level, and even in the grassroots game, I find delivering to the girls who just take on board information so much quicker. So the grassroots team I coach with my daughter, we've gone to 9-a-side now, so we're looking at sliding as a kind of back three across the pitch, which might take a few months to get a lads team to kind of understand and start to implement. We did 2 sessions, and all of a sudden they're doing it. It was just incredible. It excites me, the women's game, and I think if you look at the top level now, a lot of people say it's slow and it's this, that, and the other. But if you look at them girls now playing at the very top, they've probably come through a grassroots program and that's it. Whereas the girls now coming through are going through proper academy programs, being mentored, coached, taught. And I think over the next 10 years, you're going to see the standard just get better and better. And it excites me, the girls' game. And I think it's one of them, if I was to get back into coaching at a level, the girls' game really excites me, and it's something I'd probably look at.
How important do you think it is for the female pros today to be role models for the next generation? I saw obviously Ella Toone plays for Man United, came from Ashley and Tilsley grassroots team, and they have a tournament each year, the Ella Toone tournament, and she went down and visited last year to see some of the younger teams. How important is it for these women now to be the role model for the next generation?
Oh, it's absolutely huge. I mean, that's what's going to take it to the next level. It the momentum needs to keep being pushed now as well. And we used to go down and watch Manchester United at Lee Sports Village, and after the last Euros, that ground was full. You couldn't get a ticket, and now the attendances are starting to drop off a bit. So it really needs pushing again as much as possible, because it's a great game. People knock it, but for me, I get to watch it. I'm lucky enough to get to watch the academy girls at Liverpool every single week, and I'm blown away every time I watch it. It's not slow. The technique that they've got, the girls, is incredible, and it'll get better and better. It really will.
Absolutely. And the final question, I know you say you don't really look too far into the future. So what does the immediate future hold for you, Scott?
Yeah, I think the immediate future is to continue to be a taxi driver for my two young girls, driving them to games and training. Um, Beyond that, I'm not sure. I don't think my coaching career is over. I think I've got a lot more to offer, a lot more to give. Whether that comes in a coaching role or like a mentoring role, I'm not sure yet. But yeah, just to support my young girls at the moment is enough for me. But yeah, something I'm not ruling out getting back into in the future. That's for certain.
You mentioned you're enjoying being dad to your eldest, who's in the Liverpool Academy. Is it hard sometimes to not put your coach hat on and say, "Oh, do this, do that, try this"?
100%. Yeah, yeah. There's nothing more frustrating than being sat on the sideline, and I'm critical, very, very critical of coaches, probably overcritical, and it is frustrating at times. But uh, I'm lucky enough that the coaches that I do watch are really, really good. But I don't think that's ever going to stop me having an opinion.
Absolutely. Scott, thank you very much for joining me. Really appreciate it and really enjoyed going through your little journey there.
No problem at all. It's been a pleasure. Thanks, James.